Hello losers who watch my channel. So here I'm going to teach you how to make a money farm in Retail Tycoon. I won't give you an actual layout, but if you just want something, so as you can see my layout here that's selling items, guns, cars, tanks, trucks, and devices, this made me around 400,000 an hour. So first things we should talk about are the workers. So restockers are essential because if you go AFK overnight, you obviously can't be stocking your items on your own. So they're going to stock that for you. And cashiers, they are optional because you can buy the self-checkouts, but those are more expensive, which might not be worth it to newer players. And you can always just buy one of these by yourself and manage yourself. So you just stand in it, and when you stand in it, it's gonna go green. You can serve customers. But the more of it is better because you'll have less lines, more people to buy stuff, more rating. Now, the next, which would be important ones, these are financial reps because these give out loans to people even when they want to buy something as small as some beans in your store or some gadget, they can go out here for a loan and they're going to actually be able to afford an item. This is especially needed when this is actually required when you're going to start selling trucks and cars. So the next one would be the manager. So the manager is important, but not necessary, but it's important when you start having farms. So as they automatically start buying stuff here, so they start buying stuff amount to stock. If you make this higher, this means the items you're currently selling, they're going to have an amount of it in stock. So say I'm selling some cars, right? If I set it to 125%, it's going to start having buy cars to keep in storage. So there's always one to go. The last one, if you don't have instant delivery turned on, which is for the manager, you actually need to turn it off when you start selling cars, and we'll go to that in a bit, are the delivery drivers. Obviously, these are three non-Game Pass trucks. The other two that can hold cars and more stuff are actually Game Passes, them being the military and the electric semi-truck. So the more the better, because the more they can transfer more items from the loadout, from the loading dock, sorry, and to the store at once. So that's really necessary, especially when you're making cars and you can't have instant delivery. So we'll talk about the different farms right next, since we've pretty much covered the employees and what you have to know. So a device farm. A device farm is good for starter players as devices are cheap to get. You get a lot of profit from them. My actual first few farms were devices. My farm actually was an entire row of this that was just selling gadgets, and it's what people used to use to money farm. So as you can see, I have the cashiers, the restockers. In here, I have the manager. You can't see it, but this is really good for farming early game, because when you start getting more, you can just start placing more and more and your profit go higher. Next one would be Game Pass farm, which would be the guns. Well, there's obviously tanks and trucks, but we'll be talking about the guns here because these are actually really good. So they're as cheap as some of these electronics. So as you can see, well, close enough, but $700, 850. But the only difference is the profit is actually a huge. This is $650 profit, having some really high profit in the game. So if you have the Game Pass, this will also be a viable farm for early game. Now next one would be late game farm. This would be cars. So cars are special because you need quite a few things for them. Obviously, you can have the cashiers or restockers, which are optional. But here are the few things you need. You need a manager that has instant delivery turned off. So why turn it off? Because if you check out here, if you turn on instant delivery, it actually costs more to buy it than to sell. So if you have instant delivery turned off, you're not gonna make profit. Another one you'll obviously need is what we talked about, the delivery drivers with a space of more than 1500, so it can actually hold cars in them. Obviously costs an amount of money. And the most important thing would be financial reps, because these give out loans and NPCs don't walk into your store with 15 grand. So they take loans from these guys and they use it to buy cars. So you actually need them to buy cars here, which is actually really good profit. My old farm, which was just devices, was making around like 200k an hour. I added these only four pieces of cars, and I earned 400k an hour, which is really great. So I actually have an example here of a farm, a small one. So we have the things combined. We have the weapons here, which good profit. We have devices here, cashiers. We have self checkouts and regular ones, and we have the important financial reps and managers, and we have cars here, which are obviously good profit. So another thing to mention is you might want to try selling each type of it. So you might want to try selling each type of gadget, each type of computer, especially each type of car as well, because the NPCs, they don't buy any car, they look for a specific one. If it's a van, a truck, SUV, or a sedan. So that's a few things you should note. Also, having the more parking spaces means more NPCs in your shop, and higher rating, more attractions, so you attract more people, and blah 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 blah. That's basically what you need to know to make a farm. There's probably in more depth explanations out there, but this is kind of just a quick tutorial on how you can make a farm and the different aspects of a farm, such as the workers, what you should sell. Again, cars are pretty much for late game, but they do make a lot of money. Weapons are really good for starter, but they cost Robux. And the device is one of the best farms to make. They're cheap to get. You can even get them as a starter, and you can just abuse the hell out of it. It's a good farm. Financial reps would be important as well, because they give out loans to people who can't afford it that boost your sales. And the money trees, if you could try getting them because they boost your profit. Alright, that's pretty much all you need to know to make a farm. Goodbye.